Hello friends and fellow seekers of the good, true, beautiful. It's Mike here, and I am coming to you from outdoors today with a lot of random noises that I can't control, so please forgive any kind of weird backgrounds that you might hear that interfere with what I want to share. But what I want to talk about today is actually really critical. It's one of the most critical things that I can share with anyone related to coaching or transformation or becoming the person that you're meant to be. And it's, I'll just call it, generally speaking, the issue of shadow or shadow work. It is just a very true thing that over the last 20 plus years of coaching, working with leaders, teams, with artists, with influencers, with moms and dads, in all walks of life, that the primary thing that has been in the way of people actually achieving their goals or becoming the people that they most want to be, or loving the people they want to love, or anything like that, any desire that they really want to go for, the thing that has been the most intractable thing that has kept them from it has never been the thing that they know about or the thing that they see, the problem or the struggle that they're aware of. It's always been the thing that they don't know, the hidden struggle, the problem that they can't see or don't recognize, the thing that's hiding in the shadows. And within coaching, we call this shadow work, and it really is about uncovering the things that we hide as human beings, that we suppress or that we deny within our own lives. I think it was Carl Jung that said, "We do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the unconscious conscious." And that is, I have found to be definitely true. So I'll probably make more than one video about this because it's such a big topic. But today I just wanted to talk about basically what shadow is from a coaching context, and how you can begin to become curious about your own shadow and about the things that may be driving your life, running the show in your own life, that you are unaware of. And again, it kind of goes back to that shadow is anything that we hide, suppress, or deny. And here's how that typically happens. Early in life, when we grow up, we trying to discover who we are, right? So we're figuring it out as we grow. And we typically, because we're kids, we typically look to the world around us, both to our parents mostly, or whoever our guardians are, to our family, to our siblings, to our friends, to our community, to our culture, to reflect back to us. They're supposed to be mirrors to kind of help us see ourselves. But in some cases, those mirrors are fairly accurate and allow us to see some deep truths about ourselves. But for many of us, for most of us, those mirrors are cracked or broken. They are imperfect. And in some cases, they reflect back to us things that are not only untrue, but that are actually self-harming. And we get messages that that we are things that we're not, like we're labeled or named in ways that are condemning or shaming for us. And conversely, there are things that are true about us that we bring out into the world. We kind of display or bring out and show to people around us and invite them to comment on them. And we may hear from society or from the people around us that those things are not acceptable, that they're not welcome. And so we end up turning those things back behind us. We push them out of our conscious view because we know that if we believe that if we actually bring those things out, that we will be disowned, we will be kicked out of the tribe, we will be rejected. And when you're a child especially, but really even as an adult, the idea of being ostracized from the collective is the worst possible outcome. It's the worst possible fear. We're social animals intrinsically by our nature. So we take things that are both untrue about ourselves and put those into shadow, meaning we take on these shameful beliefs that are not actually true. We push them into shadow, saying, oh, I must be ugly, or I must be clumsy, or I must be stupid. And we put those in shadow, so we try to hide this thing that isn't even true about us. Or there are things that are true about us, like perhaps we're very creative, we're artistic, but we're not allowed to be creative or artistic in our family of origin or in that community. That's not part of the role we're supposed to play. Or maybe we're sensitive and emotional. We're not supposed to be sensitive or emotional in the role we're in. Or if you're the reverse of that, maybe you're very analytical and very logical, but in your culture, you're supposed to be not smart. You're supposed to be just beautiful and feel things and let other people do the thinking. So you push your intelligence into shadow. So all this stuff gets pushed. It's almost like you take it from your visual range and you push it behind you into your shadow, and you start to actually cast a spell over yourself and forget that those things are you, or you believe the lie that has been told to you, that you are either stupid or ugly or whatever it is. And then you start going through life that way. In some cases, it might be something like there are certain emotions you're not allowed to feel. You must not ever be angry, for example. And so you're not allowed to feel anger, so you push anger back there. You're not ever allowed to be sad, so you push sadness back there. Everybody has it, everybody does this. It's just part of our human experience. But when you come into adulthood and you start to try to function and thrive in the world as a fully formed human being, these things that you put into shadow because you needed to in order to survive now become real hindrances to you. It's like you're trying to fly, but one of your wings is tied behind your back. So the best you can do is just sort of flop around in circles on the ground. And you keep wondering, why can I not thrive in the way that I think I should be able to? I see other people do it. Why can I not do it? What's wrong with me that I can't do this? And the temptation in those situations is to actually reinforce the shadow beliefs, because, well, obviously you can't do the thing you should do because of all these false beliefs that you were told as a kid, or or something similar, like you don't have what it takes. You do not have the tool sets that your parents told you didn't have, or your school kids told you didn't have. And so the first real step of shadow work is beginning to become curious about what lives in your shadow, like what is actually there. And this takes so much courage, because we've all literally been hard trained, like hardwired through restructuring our brains to not look there, because it's a matter of survival that we just don't look there. So unlearning that and actually becoming curious in a compassionate and non-judgmental way, which is critical, about what actually is there. Like what are the beliefs that actually drive you from the shadows? What are the rules that govern you from that place of your shadow? And you'll kind of know these. You'll start to know these things by probably in two ways. One is to begin to notice what you cannot stand, cannot tolerate in other people. So when you see other people out there and I can't stand it when this or that happens, or that kind of behavior happens, or that kind of behavior, and it really, like, it's not just you don't like it really drives you crazy. When that occurs, is what we call a shadow flag. It means that there's like a flag on the play. It's like there's a shadow flag that is basically saying this could be a signal that you have this in your shadow, that there's some rule, some kind of a thing in you that says that quality must not be either acknowledged in yourself or that must never be allowed in your space for one reason or another. And so the answer there would be to begin to be curious about that rather than just no, not that, off-putting about that. The other thing is to notice the way your self-talk, like how you actually engage yourself. And if you are brave enough to do it, to begin to actually keep a record in a journal or whatever of the things, the way you actually talk to yourself, the kind of ways that you speak to yourself in your own thoughts, the critique, the reactions, the sort of ongoing diatribe or monologue that you have, commentary of your own life and how you talk about yourself. If you can begin to record that down on paper, you will start to see, most likely, how some of those shadow flags showing up. Like if you're constantly saying things like, you always do this, or this is a story of my life. Like every time something happens, you go, it's the story of my life. And so, well, is it? Is that it might just be the story of your life. There might be some narrative in your shadow that says that is the way your life has to go. Even though you kind of mean it as a colloquialism or whatever, but it can be a signal of those things. So the reason this matters is, well, as I've already pointed to, but just to reiterate, the reason this matters is that what you can't uncover from your shadow will run your life. Period, full stop. What you can't bring into the light from your shadow will run your life. No question. So when you're trying to, whatever you're trying to do, raise a family, you're trying to become financially solvent, you're trying to finish that book, you're trying to become an artist, you're trying to, whatever you're trying to do, and you find yourself continually beating your head against a brick wall, or you keep hitting obstacles and it looks like the world is against you, it looks like, man, why can't I ever get a break in this area? It looks like that I don't know, that circumstance keeps hitting you. It is almost certainly not the circumstance. It is almost certainly that you are ramming headfirst into your shadow narrative in some way or another. And it is running things. It is course correcting every time you try to deviate from whatever's going on in that shadow pattern. So this work of getting into your shadow, dealing with your shadow, uncovering it, bringing it into the light from a place of compassion and curiosity is absolutely critical to you actually setting your heart free. It's critical to you becoming who you're meant to be. It's critical to you achieving your goals in life. And you will not become free. You will not become truly alive. You will not become everything you're meant to be unless you make the unconscious conscious, unless you do the necessary shadow work. So I'll do some future posts on this that kind of dive more fully into it, but the two things I'll leave you with here is just to really begin to become curious in as non-judgmental a way as possible at what drives you crazy out there in the world, what makes you nuts, what sets you off, and begin to look at that through the lens of how is this part of my own shadow story? How is this about me? And then start making a record, keeping a log of your self-talk and what you actually say to yourself, and look for clues there about your own shadow story. So, sorry for the wind. Hopefully this came through okay. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next Identity Matters. Take it easy, guys.